Hi guys. This is already the fourth part of the Manhwa recap about Hell. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and enjoy watching. The demon detective ordered. Free him first, detective. If you don't let go, they can find someone else to take his place and then. But the demon wasn't done. The red-haired detective interrupted him. I was going to do it anyway. From the point of view of the police, there is no way to prove his involvement in the crime. And since I am also a builder of hell, I am essentially the same criminal. With the same methods. While saying all this, he stared at me intently and held the key in his hand. Suddenly Bahamurk spoke with interest. Man, you're not that green. He said everything correctly. In addition, it will be difficult to reach the end in this survival game, where you may have to lose strength in the early stages. So if we're done with everything here, I'm taking it. I have a lot to explain to my man. After my boss finished talking, the detective calmly opened the door and let me go. Hurrying away, it seemed I almost noticed his grin. He almost caught me. Two detectives remained in the interrogation room, his demon handler. The demon encouraged his man. Don't regret it. Because the name of your sin is more universal than that of any other hell. We'll use this kid as a hunting dog and get rid of him when he becomes useless. The detective calmly replied. Sure. After all, only if I live to the end, I will be able to realize a fair equal society. When I arrived at my apartment, the first thing I did was flop down on the sofa. He knew I was using the gate. Besides, he turned out to be the same. I could have been arrested or even sent to hell. I almost shouted the last sentence. But my boss quickly brought me to my senses. Don't take out your anger on me, man. It was your decision to go to the police station yourself and let him catch you by the tail. And then I shouted hysterically. But I didn't know there were other creators. When suddenly the demon grabbed my head and pressed right against a wall. His eye lit up. Know your place, man. I, the great supreme demon Bahamurk, can easily tear your soul out of your body. When he said that, there was not a drop of emotion on my face. However, he soon let me go. Besides, I'm very angry too. It didn't even occur to me that Lucifer gave others the opportunity to create their own hell. And in addition, it will also arrange a deadly game between their creators. Son of a bitch. For the last 500 years, all I've done is wipe his ass. A deadly game? I asked. That is, the winner is the one who will stay alive until the end? My boss looked at me intently. Do you think you can? I thought a little and then said. First, tell me the rules of the game. And everything that happened while I was under investigation. Okay. I'll show you. With these words, Bahamurk stretched out his hand to me with 3 fingers outstretched. It seemed strange to me, but I didn't say anything. And then he put his fingers right in my eyes. I started screaming and after a moment I realized that my eyes were fine. But now I know everything that happened in the underworld. Now I understand why it was called a deadly game. There is no such thing as the right to choose. Even if I give up, someone will still come and throw me into their hell. At that moment, a drop of fear seemed to envelop me. Everything is right. My boss answered. But this also applies to me. Lucifer said he would leave only one hell. Only one will survive, the others bound by the contract will die or disappear. As he spoke, he theatrically ran his finger around his neck. Sitting right in front of me on the floor, I thought. I don't give a fuck what happens to this demon. Even if I end up in someone's hell, you can think of it as retribution. However, there is one question, Bahamurk. If your hell disappears, what will happen to the people who are there now? They will disappear with him. I was afraid to listen to this answer. Then I can't just give up. Because I don't want them to die so easily. After my answer, even the supreme demon seemed surprised. His eyes seemed to grow even wider. A crazy man. Not for his own sake. And so that sinners remain in prison? To which I smiled. Isn't it the nature of hell? Hell is a space in which people will suffer forever. Right. That's right, you say. With a cycle like you, maybe becoming the lord of a new hell won't just be a dream for me. After these words, his eyes lit up and a strange aura filled the room. And then he pointed at me and said. I am the supreme demon Bahamurk, I recognize you as my colleague. Then I shook the demon's hand. Somewhere far away, a huge eye was watching all this. Gr. I see everything, too, Sadius. It was the same demon that had a huge eye instead of a head. He was standing on one of the roofs with his man. With the help of a pentagram, he scanned the surroundings. His man was a girl. A very beautiful girl. She was standing next to him holding a sledgehammer. She had a mask on her face, but there was a similar pentagram next to her eye. One has already been found. It was the creator of an unknown hell. Ho Min Jae. 18 years old. I sat at the table and wrote down the rules. And then he took the paper and handed it to the demon. If you put all the rules together, it turns out like this. Rules. 1. The winner is the one who threw his rivals into hell. 2. The demon can help the creator of hell in this process, but he should not use his powers. 3. Creators can use any means. 4. This process will continue until there is only one person left. Bahamurk, holding a piece of paper in his hand, said. I wrote it down exactly like that. And as Mr. Lucifer does not add new rules on a whim, your list is correct. Then the first question. With these words, I understood one finger. Besides the power that can't be used, how else can you help me? Does this mean that you have some other abilities? My strength in which you say Lucifer gave me. It involves moving between this world and hell. Hellfire emanating from my body. The ability to give orders to lesser demons. And the like. In addition, each demon has one unique ability, which manifests itself with birth. Having received such information, I thought. A unique ability. This is not just a guessing game, but another variable. Then Bahamurk, what ability do you have? My ability to detect death. When I was younger, or more precisely something like an animal, my role was to find the deceased and escort him to hell. Tell us more about the ability itself. I was about to listen when the intercom suddenly rang. What the hell? Is it really a policeman again? Or delivery? I didn't order anything. I was thinking about it as I walked down the hall. And when I got to the intercom, I pressed the button and said. Yes? Who's there? Looking at the camera, I couldn't believe my eyes. A girl? It's all kind of suspicious. She's wearing a mask. When suddenly the girl took off her mask and said. I want to show you something. Hey. What the hell? After a moment, she started unbuttoning her shirt. And her cleavage appeared in the light. What the hell? Psychotic. What is she doing? Looking at all this, I involuntarily blushed. But he said it anyway. Get out of here. Quickly. Until I called the police. After these words, I immediately turned off the intercom. And I was about to go back to my room. Bahamurk was already looking out, waiting for me. When suddenly he seemed to sniff. And then he said. This. Yes. It's the smell of death. A girl has come to take your life. Then different thoughts came to my mind. Take my life? Why? And then it dawned on me. I, who was in the corner of the room all the time, could not do anything to a stranger, so that he wanted to kill me. Then she is the creator of hell. The girl was standing right outside the door. In one hand she was holding a huge sledgehammer, and in the other she could see the key already activated. As if bragging, she took it out and said. The sin of voyeurism. Confirmed. She pointed the key towards my door. But fortunately it works only with direct contact with a person. All you have to do is break down this door. And then go out and throw him into hell. Right, Sadius? With these words, the girl raised the sledgehammer with difficulty and turned to her mentor, who was hiding around the corner. Grrr. The huge head in the form of an eye began to twitch in a positive way, confirming this. He even started clapping his hands. Your observation ability is the best. So quickly found me a hunting target. Speaking of which, this whole girl was already swinging a huge sledgehammer at my door. And then she shouted. If you don't come out yourself, I'll fuck everything up. After these words, he landed on my door handle. A loud bang was heard. Crazy bitch, I thought. I started knocking out the door. The way it breaks means only one thing. That the key activation conditions have already been met. And if it was performed simply by showing the chest through the intercom. So her sin is voyeurism. It's not that hard. And why did I take my key out of my pocket? My sin is betrayal. Bahamurk not knowing who she really is, I looked into the intercom and got caught. There is a crisis situation now. Is that not enough for the sin of betrayal? Seriously too young to call it a sin. To activate the scream, the other party must reject your trust. Isn't it natural that a crisis situation suddenly created for you cannot be called a betrayal? After a little thought, I agreed. And that's right. It's too shallow to go to hell. Bahamurk, looking at how calmly I stand and think, laughed. Ho ho, I see that you are calm. So you've already come up with something? Meanwhile, the girl continued to actively knock out the door for me. If the opponent has already activated the key and is trying to enter, the only option that remains is to make her believe that I can do the same immediately after opening the door. With these words, I went straight to the entrance to my apartment. And he sat down on the floor right in front of the door. And then he said loudly, "You enter and immediately go to hell." From which the girl calmed down for a moment, but after a second she continued. "First he was sitting in the corner and now he's bluffing? As you can see, I am now trying to open the door and enter." With these words, another blow fell on my door. And I do it because my conditions have already been met. And then another blow blew off the handle of my door. It worked. The girl was happy for a second and wanted to open the door, but I repeated it. I repeat once again, as soon as you enter you will go to hell. I said it as calmly as I could. The girl thought about it. Not trying to escape? He doesn't even beg for mercy. Why? Noticing that the girl hesitates, I smiled maliciously. Gotcha. You're probably wondering why I'm not running? My hell, this is invasion hell. The girl froze right in front of my door. She didn't know what to do next. I was sitting and waiting for her next move. My lie about a fictional hell. Invasion hell. In my opinion, this is the best bluff. A very simple trick that anyone can come up with. Bahamurk, who was watching all this, thought. There was no deception clause among Lucifer's rules. This person. Despite the fact that death is on his doorstep, he was able to think of such a trick at the most critical moment. The girl stood and thought. She had high enough intelligence to be chosen by a demon not to realize that it could be a deception. There is a high probability that this is a bluff. No, it is more than 90%. However, what if these words turn out to be true? By opening the door, I will satisfy the conditions for activating the key. What if the game ends here for me? For a moment there was silence, and the girl scrolled through all the scenarios in your head. There is one scenario. If you insert the key of hell into an open doorway and activate it. In such a situation, even a simple hand crossing of the doorframe can be counted as an intrusion. In addition, since the enemy is not visible, it is impossible to determine whether the gate was activated properly. The first option disappears. Option 2. Just leave. I won't have to humiliate myself like this anymore and maybe even run into the sky. No. He has already understood the activation conditions for my key. This may become my vulnerability in the future. Damn. Any of the options is risky. What to do? She even bit her lip from the tension. A voice came from behind the door. Are you probably thinking what to do now? If you leave, you won't get anything, but the damage will be small. But you're afraid to come in, too. How about an offer that we both benefit from? Let's make an alliance. The girl's eyes widened at these words. Even the demon standing behind her was surprised. Ha! Union? Only one creator of hell will be left alive. Who lived to the last minute. There is no joint winning option. It's only going to work now, but sooner or later, we're going to have to betray each other. To which I had a big smile on my face. This is exactly what I need, I thought. We can keep this union until we get rid of the other 10 people. I said as confidently as I could. Are you sure you can handle 10 others alone without even knowing their sins? The girl thought about this proposal. This is feasible if you use the same method as I do today, but the longer it goes on, the more difficult it is to cope alone. In addition, if I step back and make him my enemy, he can spread the information about my sin to others. I won't be able to attack suddenly anymore, and that's my advantage. Turning the girl in hope, I asked the demon. What should I do, Sadius? To which he just shrugged his shoulders. My phone number is 0108234. If you decide to make an alliance and talk, you will not need to invade my space, which is a condition for activating the key. Well, you'd better leave today. You made a fuss in an apartment building, so the police will be here soon. And think carefully about my offer. The girl froze for a moment and then took out her mobile phone from her pocket and wrote down the number. Then I decided to leave hastily. He's not that simple. I wonder if all the creators of hell are on about the same level? I sat in front of my door for a while. And then I let out a hysterical laugh. Ha! Did I almost die just now? With that, I looked at my boss. But the game has just begun. Bahamurk calmly replied. I suspected that there is a demon whose ability detects the creators of hell. But I didn't think you'd be the first target. That's not what's more important. What you did was brilliant intelligence. Found a way out in a moment. Praise. Phew. Bahamurk, your ability turned out to be more useful than I thought. We need to think about how to use it more effectively in the future. That night, the girl finally contacted me. I was playing computer games and building as usual. Suddenly my phone rang. A message has arrived. Hastily reading it, I grinned. The content was as follows. I agree, but if you betray me, you'll die. One day I earned myself so much profit. If I push her to destroy the alliance, I can activate the hell of betrayal. An incredible advantage. I was just beaming with happiness. Meanwhile, the criminal division. The red-haired detective was sitting and looking at the lists on the computer. His workplace was strewn with leaflets and missing. The demon standing behind him said, "It looks like you're obsessively looking for something, detective. Other creators of hells? Are you using your position? Not a bad trick." Sitting right in front of the screen, the detective propped his head on his hand. However, 10,000 people a year are more likely to disappear. About 1,500 just last month. It's going to be harder than I thought. Suddenly the light came on in the office. "Son, have you finished working yet?" It was one of the detective's colleagues. Not expecting to see someone here, the red-haired man asked. "What are you doing here at this hour? Did you take overtime again?" To which the colleague smiled and lifted the package. "Oh, no, I just brought a change of underwear and socks just in case." After that, he put the package in the locker of his table. "By the way, son. The guy we interrogated. I would have heard a call to his house. A challenge?" The detective's attention was instantly attracted. "Yeah. Imagine some crazy schoolgirl smashed his door or something. The neighbors called the police, but the kid personally assured that everything was fine. And the suspect has already managed to escape." A smile spread across the detective's face. "What luck. The girl that suddenly caused chaos at the apartment of Yom Seung Gi. Definitely the creator of hell. Excellent. The guy copes perfectly with the role of a hunting dog. Listen, the video from the cameras where this girl was filmed. Can I get them?" "Oh, of course. I'll stop by there on the way home and pick it up. If you're on your way, I want to ask you something else." To which the detective's partner, who was already leaving, turned around. For this week, imagine a tale to Yom Seung Gi. While the three creators of hell, who revealed their identity, are playing a game of ingenuity, the first excluded appeared. A dark room located in a skyscraper opened a magnificent view. And against a background of this view, the man was on his knees as if begging for mercy. And opposite him was another middle-aged man, with a demon behind him. This demon resembled the deity of Egypt. It was a humanoid with an eagle's head. And in his hand he held something like an Egyptian axe. The man who was standing held out the key directly to the person opposite and turned it. The other one on his knees started to speak. "A young man. Please, spare my life. Say something to Jubu Jubu. I'm not a sinful person at all." He turned to his demon. It was a small demon similar to the lower one, but with a slightly different shape. However, the man in the white suit came closer. "Respected. Sometimes existence itself is a sin." With these words, he put his hand on the shoulder of the worshipper. "You only spoil the oxygen and humiliate yourself. And I can't close my eyes to it." With that, he activated his key. And there was one less player. The vanishing little demon spoke. "Ram. Consider yourself lucky. You are the hands of a man." But the meaning of his phrase could not be heard. The man who had just sent his opponent to hell stepped right on the demon, crushing it and hastening the destruction. A pathetic demon. And he chose the same person for himself. To which his mentor wiped the sweat from his face. But still, offending a higher demon. When suddenly the man threw a creepy look at his demon. "If you don't want it to be the same with you, do everything right, Ram." To which even the supreme demon felt fear. "Come on, I'm just kidding. We're partners." Going to the window, the man added. 10 left. As soon as I deal with them, I will be able to carry out my plans. I can create my own utopia. Thank you all so much for watching, friends. If you have watched up to this point, then like and write a comment. Have a good mood and bye.